Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John's reports for the 24th, and well, we continue doing exactly what the indicator said we would, which is moving higher. Still right at that 100% mark from Fibonacci line, and you can see the fade off was in the shorts, and that was the impetus for a pretty strong move from a bull side. From a DOC standpoint, even with the cyan leading, that was a reflection of the shorts rising, but under the gun of bulls who have the edge in this particular case. We still don't have a strong move of MBI red yet, and that's reflected here. That shakeout is still pretty weak, even though we're reaching highs. Uh, Not great from a congruency standpoint because unless that flips around and pretty strong, you're going to need to see a long series of rallies above that 100% in order to get that shakeout to move in the right direction to where it's a sustainable move. Otherwise, it will correct, and that's where you get into that choppy zone. Um, from an NQ standpoint, already broaching new highs here in the pre-market, at least similar readings, literally identical, and you can see um, from an NQ standpoint, though, you've got magenta. Not magenta, but the orange dipping between cyan and red, which is a continuation within that pattern if it holds up through the day. A little bit better from a shakeout standpoint for the NASDAQ. 8 points are hard to see a turnaround in that develop. If you get another positive day, could be pretty close to getting back to parity. But then it becomes critical because once you reach the positive side, you have to continue. You can see it from these kind of histograms. Once you're negative and you go positive, as soon as you stop increasing in histogram, boom, you get your fade backs. From a treasury standpoint, it looks like maybe the credit situation has sort of resolved itself and people are feeling comfortable to be back after the whole little micro carnage situation that took place. It takes about a week or so, a lot of times for that stuff to work itself through. The bigger problem here is, and this is Trump pivot, going with more sanctions on Russia from an oil standpoint, not getting anywhere with his Ukraine Putin Zelensky situation, so he's pivoting to China, and that was positive news from the market standpoint that they're at least going to meet and have dialogue. So, despite the bluster and the talk and everything, there's still communication going on, and anytime there's people talking, there's less issues for conflict and the potential for resolution. So the market tends to like that kind of behavior. But this is problematic from you had a nice solid move going in the right direction, but this is going to cripple any momentum, if you want to call it that. You still have the government shutdown, while everyone forgets now because it's sort of like old news. They couldn't even agree to simple paying people their paychecks. So, the Democrats are really hard in on this one, and they think that this is their go-to, even though they're losing polling wise. And this reminds me back in the 90s with Clinton and Gingrich and those days where, you had the shutdowns and whoever's on the right side of the political wave at that particular point ends up being the winner in the situation, and Trump's not suffering at all. He has no reason to move at all, and he's not trying to run for re-election or anything. So, of course, he likes to joke about that, but that's a funny one. From a Euro standpoint, it's amazing that it's even held up, and I think without the Fed's intervention, it wouldn't be, but that's a whole separate issue. No one's ever said these markets were free or fair. They are governed by who can and has the ability to manipulate, and the Fed is always the king. That's why we always say never fight the Fed, because you're not going to win. From a gold standpoint, it's easing off just a little bit here, and it just needs some time to absorb this massive move. You haven't seen a move like that in a long time. It doesn't change any of the fundamentals that exist underneath as far as debasement and debt levels and that. So none of that's really changed much. From a Bitcoin standpoint, you can see a little bit of people jumping back in, testing the waters. Right now, you're in the middle of a nice short cover rally with magenta rise, but it's got to get above that 25 if that's going to be sustained to carry it over the 50% range. So you have those, they're like metrics. It's sort of like you've got to cross this bar in order for things to continue to the next one. And from an ETH, it's like one of those where you got to clear that 23% and close above it if you're going to continue your move. And it just becomes one step after the next, and it's pretty straightforward within those readings once you see it that way. Here's a beautiful one of it here, and lovely short cover. We talked about this with the MBI White Spike. The brief move to the 50% once magenta dipped underneath, but immediately turned on the DOC here with the orange dip, and boom, that was it. You had a short cover rally throughout that, and you can see the decimation of shorts within that forced the rally, which also pushes to the new high. Just that clean, straightforward. Intraday, previous puts and everything pretty much destroyed within that move, and things continued on through the Asian session. Without much of a hiccup here in the European session, it's a bit more wonky as usual. That buildup has all been erased and moving back towards neutral. So, these are the ebb and flows of trying to do, their balancing act in between. And imagine you might need to see some fill back in for your option dealers, depending on where their book lies, and we'll see that in the readings as well. So there's a lot of trouble out there, but at the end of the day, things are still chugging along. So all things being equal, that still puts the bias towards the upside rather than down, at least more neutral than anything, with a slight upside bias to it. And that remains until the readings change. So we just continue to follow. We'll see it intraday. You do have that potential on that 50K where if you get an MBI white spike, you're going to have your return back to the 50% level. So it's already expressed itself, just waiting for it to actually take place. That's the long and the short of it for now. Anything relevant, I will put it on our team chat. Have a good one. Trade well.